Good evening, my dear students. So I welcome here and our IRDA topper, Miss Snehal Rawat, and she had recently cleared the examination of IRDA Assistant Manager. First of all, I would like to give you an heartiest congratulations, Snehal.
Thank you, sir.
And today in this success story, we will try to understand from the Snehal point of view that how she had prepared for this examination and what made her to crack this examination. Because this year we have seen a very limited seat, like only 49 seats were there, and she is one of the luckiest candidate in order to clear the examination and finally get into the service. So Snehal, uh, so let's discuss phase wise, like how you have prepared for the phase one. What's the strategy? And before that, I would like to ask you something, that what are you doing now? What's your educational background? Just tell our viewers that's what's your educational background and what made you to come into the ADA examination.
Okay, sir. Sir, I belong from Raigad, which is in Chhattisgarh, and I completed schooling from Raigad itself. And then I moved to NIT Raipur. I did BTech in Information Technology. I have worked for some time in the IT sector as a software engineer. And after that, I have also worked as an assistant manager at RRB, which is Regional Rural Bank of Chhattisgarh. So that was all. And last year, uh, during March 2024, I resigned from my job because I wanted to completely dedicate myself for preparation only. So that is how. And about regulatory bodies, I have been dreaming of joining a regulatory body position since years, since I have passed out of college. So that has always been an motivation. And finally, I was lucky enough to crack one of these positions.
Okay, Snail. See, Snail, what happened now with most of the students when they get job in one sector, like one IBPS job or any other job, they won't prepare. They won't get so much of motivation to leave that job and start preparing all of a sudden, like all of a stress for another examination. So, from where you got this motivation, like from in order to prepare for ADA examination?
Sir, as I said that I was always interested in regulatory positions because I was motivated by the fact that these are the positions where actual policy making happens, where these bodies are the ones who contribute directly to the country's economic growth. And that thing has always motivated me to be a part of these organizations. So even after joining, my motive was there that I have to join this. And I couldn't while I was working, I couldn't. So I thought that I'll give a final attempt and I'll crack this time.
Interesting, interesting. Snehal, okay. So you got a source of motivation that you have to get into the regulatory body at summer. So have you prepared for other regulatory body examination as well before
Yes, sir.
because this is your
Yes, sir.
first attempt in IRDA? This is
Yes,
the
sir. In
first attempt.
IRDA, yes, in IRDA it was my first attempt. But before that, I have been giving RBI's examination. And it started with RBI actually. The motive started with RBI. And then I have also, this year also, I gave SEBI, then IFSCA, and other Apex financial institutions like NHB too. So those were in line.
So means from RBI RBI preparation, you might have got some help in IRDA preparation, like management part, ESI part. You must got some benefit, right? Can you share
Yes,
something
sir.
like?
Yes, sir. Since the second part of IRDI is descriptive writing part, which has three papers. So English descriptive is also there in RBI's mains portion.
Yeah.
So that was kind of similar. Apart from that, there is a paper of insurance and management in which the management portion, that is the 50% syllabus of that paper, it is also similar to RBI's management portion. So that was also that I had that base also because I had read about it during my previous year's attempts of RBI. So that was there. And then there was this third paper, which is ESI impacting insurance. So it was bit insurance specific, but again, ESI, that is economics and social issues. So that I have already read during RBI's preparation. So that also kind of built a base for my preparation of this section.
Okay. Like RBI has given you a base and it actually make the process easier for you, right? because we have very less time now between phase 1 and phase 2 of IRDA. So it is tough to complete the portion actually for most of the
Yes.
freshers. Okay, okay. And what about the strategy for phase 1? What you have done for phase 1? Because in just 90 minutes, you have to go through lots of questions, once 140 questions around. So what's your strategy actually? And how much you have attempted in the examination?
Okay, sir. Sir, so as you said that there was a 90-minute composite time for prelims, and there were four sections. So English, maths, reasoning, and GK was there. 40
Yeah.
questions in each section. So that is 160 questions. That has to be done in 90 minutes. So plus there was negative marking. So I feel that my maths, reasoning, and English portion is my strength. So I did not dedicate anything. I did not purchase any course separately for these portions. I gave multiple mock tests from multiple sources wherever I could get, so that my speed could improve. So that was my strategy for these sections. GK is my weak point. So for GK, I had the two major sources. One is Affairs Minds YouTube channel. So they provide a comprehensive GK source. I found it very helpful for my preparation. So Affairs Mind was there, and again Affairs Cloud was also there. So after reading from Affairs Mind, I used to practice Affairs Cloud's questions. So that is how I prepared GK. And as per my attempts, out of 160, I attempted around 145, between 145 to 150. And I was able to score 129 marks. The cutoff was 109. So I was well above the cutoff in total.
Yeah. It's a very good marks, means out of 145, you're able to manage up to 130. It's a very impressive kind of marks that you got. And
Thank
how
you.
you manage the time, because like quant reasoning usually take time. English GA
Yes.
won't take time, but quant reasoning usually take times. So how you manage the time in phase 1?
Sir, what I did was, as there was the composite timing, there was no sectional timing in this examination for prelims. So what I did, that I attempted GK first. In the first 10 minutes, I attempted GK. In the next 15 minutes, I completely attempted English. So out of 90 minutes, in the first half hour, my target was to complete at least GK and English. And then the next 1 hour, I dedicated it completely for reasoning and quant. Again, out of that, I chose reasoning to first half hour of that 1 hour which was left. I gave it for reasoning, and whatever questions I was able to attempt, almost the complete paper. But my thought was that in the first half hour, whatever number of questions I'll be able to attempt, I'll attempt those, and then I will switch to quant to attempt the questions of quant, because there is sectional cutoff also, and we have to attempt all the sections, and then we have to also focus on maximizing our attempt. So that was
Yeah.
how I attempted the whole paper.
Okay. Very nice strategy. Definitely this strategy will help some of the freshers who want to join this regulatory body and who wants to prepare for the IRDA. It will definitely help. That you have to manage the you should know that strategy, the time strategy, because examination pressure is also there, and you have to complete the paper in just 90 minutes. You have to go through all the 160 questions, that whether this section is easier or whether this section is tough and you have to left. So you have to make your mind first before entering the examination, so that
Yes,
things will be easier. Yeah.
yes, sir.
Okay. So it will definitely help the students that they have to cover the things, that the easier part, which consume less time, the GA
Yes,
and the English portion, they should complete in just 30 minutes. After that, they can switch to quant and reasoning, right? This should be
yes,
the
sir.
strategy. This should be a standard strategy. And coming to the next part of the examination, phase 2 part, right? So, as you already told that you have got some of the benefits from the RBI preparation as well in your management and ESI part. Can you briefly explain like some of the questions that you have attempted in ESI? And is examples, giving examples from the insurance sector important to articulate your answer in the ESI portion?
Sir, like ESI, which is economics and social issues impacting insurance, there were questions on, for example, if a question was there on uh, uh, social and rural requirements of IRDI. for insurance. So there were questions on that. Then there is a theme of IRDI. There is a goal of IRDI, which is insurance for all by 2047. I do not remember the exact question, but the topics were somehow related to these topics only in ESI. And then there were questions like how government is what government is doing, or what IRDI is doing to increase insurance in the rural, to increase penetration of insurance in rural social areas, security areas. So that, and then there was RBC, risk based capital framework. So questions relating to that, these things, these were asked in the examination.
And is it important to put the government initiatives that government has taken, or the major regulatory body has taken with respect to the insurance, in order to increase the insurance penetration or density? Like, is it important to quote these things in the answer?
Yes, sir. I think that it is very important to make the answer relevant, because if you only put the static part, what is penetration or what a basic understanding, that I don't think that it will make your answer stand out and it will fetch marks. So it is very important that you uh, fetch data from important reports, be it budget or economic survey or any important national report or PIB. So from there, if you fetch some data, some government schemes, and some data from that government scheme, that how many people have actually been affected, benefited from that scheme. If one can put these things in the answer, then I think that it will fetch good marks.
Means quoting the source as well, right?
Yes,
While
quoting the source as well.
okay, fine. And what about the insurance and management part? Because we have seen that last year also numericals were asked, this year also numericals were asked in the insurance part. So how you manage those things? Like,
Sir, both
have
numericals and case studies were asked in the question, and people fear these two things the most. But I want to tell you that these are the most scoring and most easiest part of the paper, and they seem scarier because of the data, the graphs, the bar charts, if they are present in the question, and the six-figure numericals that are present, and no calculator is given, of course. But once you attempt the question, it is very easy. It is not like you have to have a good background of insurance to crack those numericals. It is not like that. With a basic quant understanding also, one can solve these questions. So it is on an easier side, and one should always attempt numericals.
means one should not fear of these numericals, rather
Yes,
should take an attempt, right? In order
correct.
to
Yes,
like secure their 5 or 10 marks through these
yes.
numericals. Okay, okay. And what about the management part, the case studies that were asked? Have you used the flowchart bar diagrams in order to present your answers?
Yes, sir. Wherever felt the requirement of a flowchart, because the paper was pen and paper based, so we had the liberty that we could use diagrams and charts wherever we felt, wherever it was required. So I also used some charts, diagrams, and flow diagrams where the answer demanded. And other than those positions, I structured my answer in a way like I gave introduction, I used points to cover the entire question, entire answer, and then I concluded. And usually I used words like insurance for all by 2047. This is how we can, not for management, in general, I am talking about. Going through IRDA's website, if there are some important data, important points which they feel that they are important, they have put that on their website or on their annual report. So things like that I used in introduction and in conclusion part. And I also underlined the important points wherever I felt that these are the keywords. So I underlined those to make them highlighted.
Yeah, it is very important. Yeah, like for in UPSC answer writing also, people used to underline the keywords or the important points. So mostly you have attempted the answers in point wise, right? In point wise format.
Yes.
It's not in paragraph format. So it will definitely, in order to fetch good marks now, everyone should follow this strategy, that they should attempt the questions in point wise format using the headers as well as subheaders if possible, right?
Yes.
And can you recall like any of the question of management where you have used the flowchart? Like,
Yes, sir. Sir, like there was a question on motivational theories and leadership theories. So, for motivational theories, when I explained the theories, I gave 2, 3 examples like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, for that, there is a pyramid. So, I drew that pyramid. Then, in leadership theories, also instead of just writing, uh, I to characterize the types of theories. So, I used a line to differentiate between the different kinds of theories. So not directly paragraph wise, but an indicative idea that how many types are there. And then after that, I explain 1 or 2 liners about the type of the theories. So like that, I answer.
Okay, okay. And what about the English part? How you manage the time for English, yeah? And how you
Sir,
attempted the paper?
yes, sir. It was very difficult to manage the English portion because in 1 hour we had to attempt 5 questions, and all the 5 questions were very lengthy. So there was an essay, there was a topic that has to be elaborated. Then there was reading comprehension, and there was Pressy for a different passage for reading comprehension, different passage for Pressy, and then there was a letter. So there were 5 questions in all, which has to be completed in 1 hour. So again, my strategy here was that whatever I could complete easier and in the least amount of time, that I attempted in my first go. So, for example, I attempted letter first because it took the least amount of time. So, like that, and essay at the end. So, because it was a 500 marks, 500 words essay, so it was a long essay. So, I reserved substantial amount of time for the end to complete the essay.
Have you used any quote or any, like sayings in the essay part in the
Uh,
examination?
no, sir, I could not. I wanted to, but at that moment, I could not remember according to the topic. So
Yeah,
not like
lots of students now usually think that we definitely we should use some quote by or some like such type of examples, right? In order to beautify your essays or in order to substantiate it more. So it is just a myth. So if you will write your essay in a proper way and without diverting, then also you can get a good marks, right?
yes,
So
yes.
okay, okay. So coming to the last portion, like the interview round, very excited. You must be excited before the interview that I have an interview in IRDA finally. So,
Yes.
what's the strategy? How you prepare for the interview?
Sir, my strategy for the interview was giving lots of mock interviews because it is a 5 member panel who is judging you, and they are judging every aspect of every personality of yours. So there should be a good amount of practice for the interview, I believe so. So for that, I took multiple mock interviews from sources like Clarities, then EduTabs, then Crack Grade B, and also with my friends, with my family also I gave mock interviews. So uh, and for material I referred to IRDA's annual report. I referred to budget economic survey as they were recently released in February and January end, and also recent uh, insurance news, whatever it was there in news. So these things combined, and I worked on my DAF. We were required to fill a detailed application form, DAF. So I worked on my DAF because most of the questions are asked from DAF.
Okay, okay. So very important point you have pointed over here that apart from giving the mock interviews, you should also practice your interview with your peer groups, your family
Correct.
members or your friends, because this actually improves your personality before the interview. The way of talking, the way of speaking, the way of the attitude that you need to develop. It is very important. And we also used to suggest the students to practice your mock in front of mirror so that you can watch yourself. Okay, before
Yes.
the main interview. So it is very important. Okay, okay. And DAF, obviously DAF is very much important, and everyone should work on the DAF very minutely so that they can so that it would be easier for them and they cannot escape any of the question. And for can you recall any of the question from interview? If you would like to share with the aspirants, then you can.
Sir, for my interview, mostly 60 to 70% of the questions were related to my DAF only. So, since I had a financial experience as well as a technical background, so questions revolved around that. I had worked at RRB, so questions were on priority sector lending, on financial inclusion, on DICGC, then difference between RRBs and commercial banks, questions related to that. And also questions were also there from my hometown. Like there was the interviewer, sir, he knew something about my place, and he asked me that there was a royalty from your area. He took a name and then he asked me about him, so I answered whatever I knew about him. So that was there. Apart from that, a few questions from insurance related, IRDI related part was also there, like basic ones which can be covered from annual report. And apart from that, 2 3 current affairs questions like BRICS currency was there in news. So things related to that. So few current affairs, very few, very less. So that was
Means
how.
miscellaneous type of questions were asked from the current affairs, from the annual report itself, and from your DAF, obviously, right? So
Yes.
these were the experiences of interview. And at last, if you want to share something with our, like, for the newcomers who are willing to prepare for this examination, then please share, like.
I would only want to say that practice a lot, give lots of mocks, be it prelims or mains or interview. For mains, I practiced lots of writing. I gave lots of mocks. Stick to one, whatever channel, whatever source you are purchasing. Stick to one source, believe in that source, and make them check your answers. Get their reviews and work on your whatever things you lack. Work on that, and that's all that I want to say. So practice is the key. That is all what I want to say.
This is the key, right? Practice is the key. More and more practice in order to get success, right? Okay, okay. Okay, Snehal. Thank you very much for giving us such a precious time. And thank you very much. And our best wishes to you that you may achieve more and more endeavor in your life. Okay. And your decision must be like you take some key decisions in this regulatory body so that insurance, it will definitely help to the insurance sector. Okay. So thank you very much. And once again, I would like to congratulate you, Snehal, in order to
Thank you so
get
much,
it.
sir.
Okay,
Thank you,
you're
sir.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.